Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review of the latest episode of Hell on Wheels, Gambit. So, this whole episode was pretty much dealing with the entire fallout of the Durant situation. So, we didn't get really much headway on Bohannon and his portion of the railroad. But what we got here was still a pretty solid episode that did a lot to kind of set up the end game for a good amount of the characters for the Union Pacific Railroad. So what was interesting is that this episode started out with actually a flash forward in New York in 1885. And we see Durant, and of course, because of all his schemes and everything, he's down on his luck and doesn't really have much money. So he's peddling this ring, this gold ring that he's got, that he's telling this trader that he had used as a piece from the golden spike that was driven into connecting the two railroads. And he still didn't get much for it, but he still took it, and the dude's like, I'll round it up for you since you gave me the history lesson. And he's like indignant and everything, but he still takes it, and he goes and gets a nice suit, and actually has lunch with the other head of his rival railroad that he was working against. It's like, oh, it's so good to have all this, blah, 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 that the work we did was really good. He's like, nope, I'll pay it. Still trying to keep up appearances. Still thinking that he's a big shot. Looks at it like, holy shit. I don't even know how he was able to pay for it. Now, granted, $37 might have been more back in the day, but at the kind of place that they were at, I think that pretty much wiped him out. And then, this flash forward kind of ended in a kind of ominous sense in that I think it showed his death, but we're not quite entirely sure how it happened, if it was to just natural age, if he ate something that didn't agree with him, if he was poisoned. The way that the door blew open was kind of interesting. We also saw a picture from the final part of where both of the railroads were met and joined with that spike, and that was kind of interesting, but it's kind of hard to look at that picture because when I was watching it, I had on-demanded it, so I paused it to try and look and see if I could see Bohannon or anything, and I wasn't able to pick him out, but it was kind of cool to see that. So then they flash back to our kind of present that we're looking at, and the situation is pretty much deteriorated. They've called in Governor Campbell and all that to kind of figure out what's going on, because they sent a communique out to the board of directors and like, we ain't paying for them. We're doing this to the government. It's like, And it's funny. The reporter lady's like, I can tell you exactly. Had an Irish accent, spoke very minimally, killed Delaney, and you could see Mickey trying to get this into a position where it would work out best for everyone, and just being screwed over. He's like, well, don't call him the government yet because he was in railroad matter, so it should be to the railroad. That just kept snowballing and snowballing, and he could see that his cousin, Johnny O'Shea, who's going to have to take him out. He's a mad dog. He was a mad dog before it. The killing is just his second nature to him. It's part of him. And it was just kind of sad to see that happen again, since he already went through that with his brother. And he wants to be legitimate. Everything just keeps pulling him back in. You see these characters trying to sometimes change and just giving into that pulling nature, not truly going as far as they need to. And then, of course, there are other characters manipulating them into it, like Durant manipulating Mickey into doing this insane scenario. And it really didn't work out for most of the people involved, because they even knew right off the bat, it's like, you gotta take out your cousin. The only one who didn't think that it was a scheme was Miss Palmer, who was in love with Durant. And it was funny, because Campbell's thinking of all these kind of ways. They actually go out to pretty much where they were at, but they booby-trapped it and moved Durant and Johnny to another place, and blew up and killed someone else, one of the soldiers looking for them. And it's just like, this is getting worse and worse. And in the beginning of the episode, Durant's like, we gotta control this situation. And you really didn't, dude. You're just a schemer. You're just a broke person using money that you don't have and trying to make money in just stupid, stupid ways. And after that, they're like, all right, we've got all the money. Look in the books to see if there's someone that we can try and track down. And it's funny because the reporter lady's like, he's broke. I've looked through the books. He doesn't have any money. He's like, and Palmer's like, no, that's wrong. He paid off the ranchers and everything. It's like, no, he's broke. And then Campbell put it together like, he faked his kidnapping. That's pretty much what this is. He's orchestrated his own kidnapping to get this money. And Palmer still believed that it wasn't too, that Durant wouldn't be that crazy to scheme this kind of stuff. But that's, of course, the hallmark of his character. He is a schemer for everything. If he can make money at something or get himself in a position of power, he will do it no matter who he hurts. And, of course, once they decided they weren't going to pay, Palmer storms out, and she's the one that comes. And Mickey and Johnny had somewhat made an agreement that they're going to take whatever portion of their money and go back to Ireland and set themselves up. And of course that doesn't happen because Miss Palmer comes, she's got $50,000. Johnny's like, nope, it's $250. And then he pretty much shoots at her, kills Palmer, and then Mickey's the one that takes out Johnny. And Durant is just, you could see that he had loved her, or at least had deep feelings for her, because I think the only person Durant truly loves is himself. Because as we get later in the episode, and since this is pretty much the end, we find out that Miss Palmer had sold her hotel $50,000 to try and get Durant back. And it was just a sad situation all around, but he's the bastard that let it happen. He always lets this happen. And he gave the $50,000 to the ranchers, and Mickey's still back in his bar doing his stuff, and he got crazy because he almost raped Eva. And it was really kind of, I know his character is losing pretty much his grip of reality. He has to keep doing all these things and hiding himself, but that's wrong. And it was still weird and kind of strange that she kind of fought him off and then let him do it. But I can understand it because of her work as a madam and as a whore, and that she understands that he kind of needs something like that to kind of deal with all of the pressure of him having killed his brother and killing his cousin and all the dark things that he's had to do. It still doesn't excuse the fact of his character to make those choices. I mean, you're still in control of yourself. I was just like, it was good to kind of see that kind of character development and that kind of conflict to show how far these characters have gone and what they're willing to do and what those choices later on affect their other character choices, the snowball effect, the domino effect, that since Durant has lost Palmer, losing something else as well as the money, leads him to pretty much going down to being destitute. So, those are my opinions on the episode. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.